Hey there, this is Aaron, and I'm joined by my son Matt, and we were thinking about what we wanted to talk about because we wanted to kind of make a video together, wanted to do something, wanted to talk about something horror, horrific. We thought about doing remakes, talking about a horror franchise and something like that. So I was looking over at my stuff there, and literally the idea just came upon me because my Scream box set mask thing kind of fell out of my head. So I said, hey, sign from above. Let's talk about the Scream franchise. Let's go. There's four of them, and we have very strong, definitive ideas about all four of these films.
Oh yeah.
And first off, Scream One, the original, the classic Wes Craven film. Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I enjoyed that film. Everybody enjoys that film. It's the meta film.
It's an incredibly fun film. Of course, there was a movie done 10 years before that was just.
Oh yeah, yeah. We watched that. That was really good.
Awesome one.
Except for in that one, the what's his name again? The Jamie Kennedy's character.
Jamie Kennedy character's the hero.
Yeah. The character in the other one, the one that was made 10 years earlier, is like a total jackass to everybody.
Oh, man, you don't understand horror movies.
Let's get by the window. What are you, stupid? Have you never seen any?
That's just we'll do a review thing of that one, by the way.
Yeah, we should.
And there's something or something that's the name, but Scream came out in the early '90s. There was a big bid war over the film before it came out, and they were wondering, who's going to be doing this, and turns out to be Wes Craven, and actually it's pretty cool. Love the start. Drew Barrymore, iconic opening for the film. Now gets all like psycho on you by the person who thinks is going to be the lead. We got Skeet Ulrich, who unfortunately looks too much like Johnny Depp at this point to actually go too far in his career. We have Neve Campbell, who was on Party of Five.
Yeah.
That was their big show back then. Of course, Courtney Cox, who was on Friends. And the girl, Rose Byrne? Is that something. The girl with the really nice breasts that gets killed in the scene.
Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard. I love Matthew Lillard. Yeah, he was awesome. And he, for me, this was like, this is my favorite in the franchise. But there's one that comes close. There's one that comes close to it. We'll get to that. I'm not going to say which one it is yet. But what do you think? What's your biggest, what came in Scream for you? What do you think was like the best?
I love Matthew Lillard's character. Before we even get into them, Scream 2 is good. Scream 4 is pretty good.
Let's not get there yet with spoilers.
Well, I'm just saying, like, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. If I watch Scream 4 again, there might be some problems that I saw with it. But, though I saw it in theater twice, so.
Let's not go to the redhead stepchild yet.
Yeah. I'm not even mentioning it. But this film works itself on its own. Who the killers were, the reasoning behind it, it makes sense. It is enclosed in itself.
It is awesome. What I really think was really cool, they made the smart stuff, taking one of the best horror soundtracks of all time, Halloween, and incorporating it into their film by having Halloween playing in the background, talking about it, acknowledging that this slasher stuff, can kind of happen if you follow the rules. Then maybe you'll live after all. But then you find out the girl that breaks all the rules is the one that ends up living. It's very
meta film.
Yeah, it is very.
It's the meta film.
It is cool.
That was the
I love
night. I will say though that I don't appreciate it bringing in things like Scary Movie, and though this one wasn't as bad, it might be bad if I go watch it again. I haven't seen it in like almost pretty much 10 years. I Know What You Did Last Friday 13th.
I like that movie.
Well, it's not too bad, but
It's silly and crazy, but at least it's silly and crazy in the way that I think that it should be. Whereas Scary Movie and its ilk are just throwing a bunch of crap against the wall and see what's going to stick.
Yeah.
Kind of like when you're making spaghetti. You know it's ready. Scream 2.
I like Scream 2. Scream 2 is... I love Jamie Kennedy's character.
Jamie Kennedy was pretty much the horror fan. When they were watching the movie, like, oh yeah, that's us. Oh damn, Randy's dead. Yeah, I should have said there's spoilers. There's spoilers. I'll probably put that in the title.
It's Come on, it's an old series.
Yeah, you should know better. I mean, if you haven't seen the Scream movies by now, see them.
Why even here on the channel? We talk about movies like this all the time.
But Scream 2 was cool. They take it to the college aspect. We get some like little cameos from Sarah Michelle Gellar. And of course, Timothy Olyphant is the killer. Is one of the killers in this one. You know, Justified. I guess you watched that show.
I said about the first one that it's very like imposed on itself. The second one is a good follow-up, and it makes sense for it.
I did like the boyfriend dying.
Yeah, I never remember that.
I'm a huge Sliders fan, guys.
It's a good show.
It was a good show.
I'm a huge fan of. How many seasons of there were of Sliders? I don't even.
There was 3 seasons. There are no more.
Anytime
just say
the moment the word Cro-Mags is mentioned, just goes out the window for me.
Yeah,
I don't like the Cro-Mags.
But Scream 2.
Scream 2. Sorry. Scream 2 is a good film. The killers in this one are a lot harder to guess in certain respects, I guess. Like
the killers suck.
Yeah, the killers aren't that interesting at all.
The movie is pretty good. The structure of the film is good. The killer itself, I love the fact we get to see more of Cotton. Liv Schreiber is an actor I've always enjoyed. I love to see Cotton Leary's character coming into his own, seeing more of him in here, and that gets us to the third movie.
I read a lot on Scream a while back, and I read about how the original ending of it was supposed to be different. Scream 2.
Yeah.
I think it was supposed to be that Liv Schreiber wasn't actually the killer, Cotton, but I think it's supposed to. There's supposed to be a fight to the death at the end with him and like a turning. That would have been okay, but it doesn't really matter because what happens in
Scream 3 negates
it all. Which
Scream 3 actually
everything.
has an amazing opening. You think you're in for a hell of a movie ride because this movie, the first half tells you Lance Henriksen's going to be in this movie, and everybody loves Lance Henriksen. Then they say, well, Cotton Leary gets brutally killed, but in such a way at the beginning they're like, wow, anybody can die.
Look, it's pretty much they already killed Jamie Kennedy's character. They need someone else to kill that can be like oh no, anyone can die.
And then they take the voice box for most of the movie.
Yeah, and do the whole like it can copy anyone thing.
Yeah, which really doesn't work because the whole cool thing about Scream is like that kind of cool like raspy voice that guy does. You know, have you ever, you know?
I guess they didn't realize they'd be doing a third one because the moment they went out, they were like, okay, Jamie Kennedy's dead. What are we gonna do to like explain the rules of a trilogy for this one?
He's got a geeky sister outside.
He's got a geeky sister who
didn't exist before.
Who didn't exist before and brings him
a tape
that has him on it because he wrote it because he somehow knew that there would be a third set of killings even though he didn't technically.
Yeah. The big thing about this, and this is what kills me, is one of the biggest problems with this movie, and I think that it's got to be put out there. Kevin Williamson did not write Scream 3. Kevin Williamson, who created Scream and did Scream 2, was too busy at the time. He was making a movie called Teaching Mrs. Tingle, which turned out to be not very good.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, well, that's what he did. He didn't write Scream 3. Somebody else came in and wrote Scream 3. And I guess they kind of did their best, but the killer was changed for one. It wasn't going to be who it was. The killer may have been a little bit more personal and close. Somebody within the group.
They decided to make it very personal and close. And the most... Man...
They took an actor from
Felicity.
Felicity. That film. That was very likable, actually, in the series Felicity, and I'm not a huge fan of that show, but still, it was good for what it did. And any show that starts out as a college drama and ends up with time travel, I'm okay with. But,
none of that film, like...
It's horrible.
The explanation of the mother...
Jane
the retconning of Jane Silent Bob. Like, I love Jane Silent Bob.
Not in this movie, man.
I'm here.
I don't see Jane Silent Bob just popping into my horror movies. I don't see him show up on Friday 13th.
The retcon of every single bit of the other stuff. I mean, you can retcon 2 a bit because the killers once again in that were pretty awful. But the first movie was good. That was a good movie. Don't go back and say.
Well, you got to see it like this. Scream is like Friday the 13th too, because the killer is the son, and he's pissed off because the mom's not around. And Scream 1, 2, bam, they reverse it. It's Friday the 13th 1. The killer's the mom, because
But add in
his
that
son's
one
been
guy,
killed instead.
the one guy on the serial killer website.
Yeah, and let's not go there.
Man,
And
don't
Scream
make me
3
not
is
like
like
Scream 2.
and Scream 3 is like, just hey, look, she's got a brother that she didn't know existed.
Scream 3 was like, oh, by the way, did we mention her mother who died, who went to Hollywood, and was involved in, like, debaucherous, like, sex scandal stuff because of this, like, evil, like, sketchy...
They basically took a real sex scandal back from Hollywood days and wrote it into their script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they had an illegitimate son, she didn't accept him, so...
He went to town.
Went to town and he
Convinced them
to kill them, which makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah,
and that's how they went on the first path. And then I think he might have mentioned something about like having to do with the like site as well. I don't remember.
He was like the mastermind behind it all. He's like, he's Dr. Claw.
And
But
doesn't matter.
Let's go on to part 4.
Okay.
And this is where I got to talk. Part 4 is actually my favorite of the Scream sequels. And it wasn't at first, because one of the killers, I think, is an incredibly bad actor. And I think you know who he is.
Yeah.
Now, Scream 4 had the chance to go ballsy in some ways by killing off some of the other characters that have been in it for a while.
It did not.
And it didn't do that.
It didn't even touch them.
It actually decided to go ahead and kill off pretty much
the entirety of the new cast.
Yeah, that should have been set up.
There was rumors of Scream 5. Like, there was talk about a Scream 5.
It was a new trilogy. It was supposed to be a new trilogy.
What happened to that? Maybe, I don't know, killing off all of the new cast.
It's rumored that the character played by Hayden Panettiere was supposed to not actually be dead and be coming back. That's just rumors. But that was heavily rumored.
There's a Scream show thing going on now. I would not mind her being a main character on that. She hasn't been on TV in a while. I don't know the last time she was on TV.
They'll do like new cast and try and
stunt.
Hopefully, as long as they don't stunt cast it and they do it well. I would normally be really freaked out by MTV doing something, but they did Teen Wolf. You know, Teen Wolf's not actually bad. I was serious. Not that bad.
I've not watched a lot of Teen Wolf, but I saw the recent ads for it, and those were some pretty sweet ads.
But overall, part 4. The ending. You get to the ending of part 4. It's one of the most brutal endings. That last few seconds of Scream 4 hit home so strong.
Yeah.
And that's what made me love Scream 4. That's why I love the movies. The ending. The ending is incredibly powerful.
Me and you saw it in theater.
Yeah,
we saw it together, and then I saw
it
Then I saw it a few days later to a week later with a friend of mine from out of town who was like really loud throughout the entire thing and telling me about like horror movie facts that I already know. Like certain stuff about like Halloween and that, and I was like, yeah.
Did you know Michael Myers was at Halloween?
It was something similar.
That's not the Michael Myers from Saturday Night Live.
The entire like
totally different characters, you know.
Within the first 10 minutes, he was like, "Did you know like this about Halloween and like this? He's called the Shape and all this stuff." And it's like I could feel people behind us like kicking my chair, and I'm like, "Yep, I know it. Please stop talking."
Well, that's what happens. You get some people and they're like, they have the brilliant knowledge, the wisdom of Solomon when it comes to this stuff, and they actually don't know. You know, and I know people like that they'll start talking about movies and be like, "Oh man, this person watches a lot of movies. They know a lot about." Holy shit, they don't know anything they're talking about at all. Just nod and smile. You can get through this. It's not so bad.
I saw Avengers in theater with my friends, and at the end, nobody reacted when like Thanos appeared. Because like I heard a lot of people online afterwards were like, "Yeah, Thanos." But the theater I was in, nobody reacted. They're like, "Oh, okay," and everybody was leaving. And my friend just looked at me and was like, "Who's that guy?" And I was like, "That's Thanos, yeah."
Yeah, but you know, a lot of people aren't movie geeks, or comic book geeks like us. They're going to know what Thanos is. But overall, Scream 1, great movie. Scream 2, a very good follow-up with Horrible Killer.
Scream 3 is really
sucks
really
ass,
good too.
And Scream 4, incredible movie with a little bit of bad acting.
4. They could have made a third film, but I'm glad they skipped just to 4.
Yeah, I guess that's what they did. I have a friend that saw Pumpkinhead, loved it so much that Pumpkinhead 2 doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Just saying. Anyway, this is our thing. I've got to go grab some caffeine, and right now it is literally, it is time for tea.
Yeah, time for